back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. Today's video is gonna be completely based around this little guy right here, which is the beauty blender. It's taken me years and years to finally work up the courage to buy a beauty blender. One, because I always thought that it was too expensive, and you know, you have a lot of dupes out there that can, you know, do just as good of a job. So I really wasn't interested in the beauty blender, but I've been watching some videos on YouTube recently, and it almost seems like everybody owns one, and I love makeup so much, so you know, I finally decided to try it. But today's video is mainly going to be based around me using it practically all over my face. So I'm going to use it for eyeshadow, I'm going to use it for my foundation, for my concealer. So we're gonna see how versatile it actually is. I know these come in little versions, but I actually just want to put the big one to the test, and based on this, whether I like it or not, then I'll, you know, find out whether it's worth it or not to, you know, kind of up on my collection and buy the little ones and all different kinds of versions. So mine is already damp, because if you guys don't know, it has to be used damped. It cannot be used dry. It's just not gonna work. So I don't want to do too much talking. I am going to incorporate my Maybelline products that I got recently into this video. So a lot of things are going to be different, but I'm gonna list everything in the description box for you guys, because just in case you guys are wondering what I'm using. Sometimes even though I put the item up to the camera, sometimes that doesn't really do it. So I'm gonna list everything for you guys. I was out of breath, I had to get some water. So yeah, so we're gonna try this guy out, and we're gonna see if he's really worth the amount of money that he is. I mean, it's only $20, but when you have little guys like this here that you can get in a drugstore for a couple of dollars, it's like, why do I really need this? So I'm gonna put him to the test today to see how good he is. Mine I've used a couple of times. I already know my opinion on him, but I'm doing this video for you guys because I think it would be something great to film, because maybe there's a couple of you guys out here who probably thinking the same thing, like, why do I need to get this? So we're gonna do my whole face, and we're gonna, you know, see how he works. So off camera, my face was moisturized. I'm gonna prime my face, and I'm gonna use the Maybelline primer. This was one of the new products that I recently got. I had used it previously, and I really felt like it was making me oily. So I'm just gonna give it a second chance. We're gonna, you know, we're gonna try it again off of this and see how well it works. Maybe that day was a bad day. I don't know what was going on, but I'm really, really particular with my face. Like, I have really oily skin, so most likely if a product is not gonna help with my oil, like, I really don't need it. Like, if you're just gonna make all the issues I go through on a daily basis with my face worse, then I might as well just get a product out there that's actually gonna help with my oil. So we're gonna do brows first. I'm gonna take my Pierre Cosmetics StayPut Brow Gel, which I got in one of my previous Ipsy bags. And I have a lot of products I realize that I use on a daily basis that are all from my Ipsy bag. And I like to use this just on the end of my brow, because it's a very, very dark consistency, and a little goes a long way. And I really wouldn't want my brows to be this color except for on the end. So that's practically where I use this the most. I use it on the end of my brow, and then just use the excess to kind of line the top. Just to give me an idea of where I'm gonna put everything else. And by everything else, I mean my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow gel. So that's what I use to fill in the middle, because it's more of my brow color, so I use that to fill everything in. And it might look dark to you guys, but it actually really isn't that dark. It's actually perfect. So now that we have brows done, I normally used to like highlight under my brows. I kind of stopped that for a while now. So we're not going to be doing that today. Just brushing everything out so everything's even. Alright. Now we're going to take our beauty blender, and I'm going to use my Morphe concealer palette. One of these just keeps coming out. I don't understand why. Then let's use the tip, and I'm going to dip it into this, either this orange or red one, and I'm going to put it right under my eye. And this is basically, it helps me a lot to get to hide the darkness, or like what I would consider bags under my eye. And then I'm gonna go in with this shade right here as my concealer, and I'm gonna put that right on top of the red, like so. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm really not using a lot, just in case you guys were wondering. It's really not a lot of product. And of course, as you notice, I'm bouncing this. I am not, you know, swiping or wiping it onto my skin. So that's basically that. I'm going to take my Laura Mercier powder, which I'm sure you guys kind of know what this powder looks like by now. And I'm gonna set under my eye with this to make sure my concealer stays put. I actually really like this powder, because at first when you see this powder, you would really think it's like really white. Like, why am I putting this on my face? Because like I am like so dark. Like, isn't this gonna make me look crazy? But it actually works really well with concealer. The only thing I really use it for is to conceal, and I use it for highlight and contour. And I haven't had any issues with it as far as flashback, because I have heard that if you use too much under your eye, you can get flashback. When I ordered this concealer palette from Morphe, they sent me a sample of their new eyelid primer, which is in translucent. So it just has a little flap right here. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to take some of this and put on my lid for when we're ready to put our eyeshadow on. And it's almost like you can't really see it, but it does feel kind of a little bit tacky. So now that we have this on, we're gonna start on our eyeshadow. So remember, we're gonna use our beauty blender to do that also. And of course, I'm gonna use my JaclynHill palette, and I'm gonna use the pointy side of the beauty blender. So first, I'm gonna go in. I usually go in with a light shade, so I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. This palette actually came with the names on like a card, but I actually don't even know where the card is, so I can't even tell you guys what the name of the shade is. But I'm gonna put this all over my lid first, kind of as a base. So far this is going on pretty nice. I'm surprised. Then I'm gonna take this dark shade right here, which is kind of like a brown, and I'm gonna put that in my crease area. So I'm gonna try to stay right here in the middle. I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side. And this pointy side actually really helps you out a lot. You know, it helps you get into precise areas that you wouldn't normally be able to get into. This is actually pretty nice. It's actually seeming like it's something that I would actually like. Right now this doesn't look bad at all, to the point where I wouldn't mind just carrying just a beauty blender with me to put my makeup on, instead of carrying like a whole bunch of brushes. And then I'm gonna go in with this brown shade right here. We're gonna put that in the outer corner. It has a little bit of glitter, so it's gonna give the eyeshadow look a little bit of definition. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm gonna put a color, I'm gonna put a shade on the inner corner. So I think I'm gonna go with, let's go with this shade right here. Let's go with this shade. This is like a lighter shade I don't think I've used before. So we're gonna put that on the inner, inner corner of our eye right here. It's gonna wake up the look a little bit. So far it's looking kind of nice. I am shocked. Alright, so I think that's good enough for shadow. Alright, now I have this liquid eyeshadow, which is from Wet n Wild. It's a very, very awesome color. This is the metallic. It's a metallic color. Does it have a color? Aquatic Prism. I think that's the name. But we're gonna use this as our eyeliner. I'm gonna just take I'm gonna use my brush from my regular eyeliner, and we're gonna use that to apply it on, and we're gonna do that while our concealer bakes. So hopefully this comes out how I imagined it in my head. So far, not bad. Just pull some more from the inside. Place it right here, just so I can make this a little bit more precise. We got it a little bit big already. That came out really good. Better than I thought. Now we're going to take a brush and we're going to brush away the excess of our Laura Mercier that we used to bake. And now I'm going to put on my foundation. So we're going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, which is for normal to oily skin. I'm going to go back in with our Beauty Blender. Oh, Patrick Starr is the one who normally says that. I was watching his channel a lot at one point, and I started calling this Beauty Blender, and it just became like a normal part of my makeup routine. Alright, so I'm gonna put our foundation on, and I'm just dabbing this here into the skin. So my first thoughts on this foundation, it's a pretty wet texture, which I like because I don't feel like it dries too fast. It does apply like really good, so I actually really like that. Go around the nose area here, down to the jawline. That's a very important place because you want to kind of blend this in seamlessly with everything else. So I think that foundation applied really good. Alright, so now I'm gonna do my mascara, which I'm gonna be using the Pink Pewter collection, which was also another item in my Ipsy bag. So I'm gonna use that to do my lashes. So that's that. Ooh, I think I got something dark on my face. Where did that come from? Okay. So now that this is laid out, I'm going to do a highlight and contour for you guys. I don't really highlight and contour, but let's try. We're going to try something new. So I'm going to take, oh my god, this shade just like keeps falling out. Like I'm really gonna have to like glue that down. So I'm gonna take this shade right here, which I think would be a good shade to highlight for my skin tone. So I'm gonna take a lot of it because I don't want it to be like too prominent. I don't want like the highlight to be crazy, basically. So I'm just gonna use this, right? And I'm gonna put some of this on the bridge of my nose right here. I'm gonna put some right up here on the top cupid's bow and my chin area. Then I'm gonna go in with this dark shade right here, which I think will be great as a contour shade, and I'm just going to dab this going down right here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to take some and put it right here on my nose. I rarely contour my nose, but I'm pretty satisfied with my nose, so I always feel like there's no need for me to contour it. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to blend this in here. Now I'm going to go with my Laura Mercier again, and I'm going to set the contour. So I'm going to set up here. I'm going to set my nose. I'm going to set my under eyes again. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to go here. I'm going to set down here. And I'm also going to set under my contour here. So I really don't want to mess this up too much. So we're going to use this to make like one swipe of powder here. Okay. That's perfect. So now we just have to wait for this. So far I think the foundation is pretty good. It's a pretty matte finish. I don't really see any oil breaking through just as yet. Hopefully, hopefully no oil breaks through, but I want to give you guys an honest review. But this is the most I think you guys will ever see me like highlighting and contouring. I normally don't do this. I don't find it necessary for me to do this. And on top of that, I'm pretty light, but I always felt like I had a lot of problems finding a contour that looked good on me, that didn't make me look like a dark skinned person in those areas. Like you want it to kind of blend. Or maybe it's because I wasn't good at it. Maybe I wasn't really good at the process as yet. I just realized I did not do, like I completely forgot to like contour on the top of my forehead, as well as like jawline area. I need this too. Need to get rid of that double chin. So I'm gonna contour down there. That's supposed to help with that. So while this is baking even more, I'm gonna take, I have this MAC powder, which I have a few of them. This one I specifically use just to set my contour, and of course it's a darker shade than me. So this is NW43. My MAC shade is NC45, I believe. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this contour brush, which is from Farrah, and I'm gonna use that to set my contour in that area. And it's good to set your contour with a powder, especially if it's a cream, because then you basically help it stay throughout the rest of the day. And I'm just gonna use the excess, the remainder for my jawline area. Alright, so I think this should be baked enough by now. So we're gonna sweep all that away. So we're gonna take this out, and we're gonna use the angled brush that we just used just now with the MAC powder, and we're gonna set our contour on our nose. Gonna use this to dust off the excess from here, here, and here. And now I'm just gonna use this to kind of bring everything together, because you kind of want everything to blend in nicely. So I'm using that to make everything sit together. So we have a nice little contour here going on. We're gonna green under eye. I think that was a nice. This is a nice highlight shade. Now I'm gonna put on some Glacier, which is a rose balm, and I also got this in my Ipsy bag. I'm actually really loving this balm. It keeps my lips super, super, super moist, which I like. And I guess we can put on, now I'm gonna put on my blush, and we're gonna use this blush, which is from Japonesque, which was another company I came across from Ipsy. So shout out to Ipsy. I have so many products from so many companies that I've never heard of before, and I love their products. So we're adding our blush, and then my highlight, I'm going to use a highlight that I also got from another Ipsy bag. And I just had it right here. And this is from Ofra Cosmetics, and it's called You Go Girl. Comes in this little tube right here, but it is so, it's just such a good highlighter, guys. Look at this. I love it. It just like brings out your look. It just gives you like the best highlight ever. So I'm gonna bring some of this down. Bridge of my nose. I'm gonna bring this here. Kind of feeling like I went a little overboard, but I don't think so. Like can you really go overboard with highlighter? Possibly. But listen, you need to bake for the gods. Like, literally. So I put on a lippy for you guys. I use the Wet n Wild. This is in the color Breeze. Now I keep trying to stick with my lip, you know, thing, because you guys know I'm not a big fan. But my overall views, guys, on the Beauty Blender, I say thumbs up. I love it, I love it, I love it. And I feel like, you know, you don't have to go and buy it if you can afford it, because it took me years before I actually got this one. But what I can tell you is the dupes, they do work, but at some point or another, they're never gonna last as long as this guy can. So eventually, buying these dupes, you're gonna end up spending $20 anyway. So just like, why not buy a Beauty Blender? I do recommend you guys getting the cleansing gel. I didn't buy the gel, but I'm in the process of doing that, because I tried cleaning this with like regular like liquid soap I have here, and it's just like the outcome was just not the same like all the videos I watched on YouTube saying how to use it using the actual gel from Beauty Blender itself. So I would suggest you buy that when you're buying the Beauty Blender, so that way you can ensure that it lasts you longer, because the gel was specifically made for the sponge. So I feel like, you know, they go together, you would need them. But I really love the Beauty Blender. I definitely say it's a really great product. I will definitely be buying more, because one just is not enough. And as you guys saw, I used practically, I did my whole face using the Beauty Blender, even my eyeshadow. I'm shocked that this eyeshadow came out this good using a Beauty Blender. Like, I was a little bit scared that I was going a little bit too high up here. You know, that you know, because you don't want your eyeshadow all the way in your brows. It's not cute. So I was a little bit scared of that part, but it actually came out really, really good. My thoughts on the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. So far, I don't see any oil. I don't see any creasing anywhere on my face. So I'm loving this foundation right now, and it's a drugstore foundation. And I'm feeling like the drugstores are really getting so much better with their foundations, because a couple years ago, I used to use some foundations and I don't know, there wasn't a lot of shades and it was just a mess. But now I feel like they're really on top of their game. So I definitely recommend this if you're an oily girl and you really don't want to get a high-end foundation that's like $50 or $60. And I think this one was only, I don't want to lie to you guys, it definitely wasn't more than $15. It was really, really worth it. This look, I hope you guys really loved the look. Also, if you did and you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Of course, if you're new or if you've been watching us for a long time and you haven't subscribed, come on, you guys can help your girl out. Subscribe. The comments and everything lets me know if you guys like the content that I'm putting up, and I'm trying a lot of new things, so you know, it'll help me out, so that way I know what content to put up for you guys on my next video. So of course, as always guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed this review slash tutorial slash get ready with me, whatever you guys want to call it. But stay tuned for my other videos coming up guys, and I will talk to you guys on my next video. Bye.